getting close to the end of phase one, which is the cleanup phase. I've been working on it for a couple of weeks now. I just wanted to talk about one of the big issues that keeps facing here, and it's this access. So basically, any car has to drive up onto the edge of this, which is, first time I did it was very precarious, but the road is so narrow, and actually a lot of the carpenters who I've been trying to work with are saying this is like a #1 worst issue because they can't get their trucks up here. Here it is. So actually, when I first found this house, I was actually looking at one of the houses, 2 houses over, and yeah, it was like too compact and it wasn't really old enough, so I wasn't really that interested. But I looked over and I saw the roof of this. It was actually totally overgrown, and I went, that looks really interesting. So it was literally 7 years ago I found this house, and it was my dream house. I fell in love with it instantly. So this is our biggest problem, this top corner here. This roof has been leaking for over 10 years, and you can see that the damage is considerable. The whole corner is going to be needed to be rebuilt. So the house is about 100 years old. Nobody really knows the story. Unfortunately, the old man who used to live here died about maybe 15 years ago, and his nephew inherited it and just left it to disrepair. When they came to the house, they told me they were shocked at how the old fella used to live. He didn't have any water. He got all his water from the mountain, which we hope to do as well. And yeah, there's electric attached now, but for a long time he was living without electricity. So it used to be a silk farm. It's got 3 floors. This little valley was famous for silk back in the day, and also tea. It has a tea plantation at the back. So we've pulled all the tatami out. You can see it was totally rotten. I remember the first time I brought my architect friend here, he literally fell through the floor. Luckily it was only on the first floor, but everything inside is completely rotten. The kitchen used to be there, but yeah, we might just this is a new extension, so you might take that away. But the whole idea is to make it much more open here and keep the doma, which is the old Japanese floor. And now that we've taken away the floors, we can actually see some of the old silk pits. So I think these were for boiling the silk. So hopefully we can keep these as a feature and work around them. It's quite a shame. It took me like over 2 years to get the contract, and within that period of time it deteriorated so much. This floor fell through. Obviously the water was just coming in constantly. So we're going to have to completely rebuild this corner, and at the minute I'm trying to find a daiku who's willing to work with me. A lot of the Japanese daikus just say it should be demolished, and there's no point rescuing it, and it'll be just easier to build a new building. But I just think it's so important to just to save these cultural treasures, I think. It's only about 100 years old, so you can see that the pillars, etc., are not that thick, and that's what happened as the Kominka construction became more modernized. They made the woods smaller and smaller. The much older Kominkas are really thick and very sturdy, but still I think we can rescue this and do something nice. The idea is to make it into a kind of multi-purpose facility and have it as a center for regenerative learning and sustainability, a bit of a remote workstation for ImageMill, our production company, and maybe even have like art galleries and some exhibitions here. Just worried that everything's going to collapse at any stage. So the first thing you notice is the very low roofs here. So You know, I'm 5'8" and just about hitting the roof here. It's really difficult to increase the height, so we're going to have to work with what we have. And I'm thinking to make this into just small cubicle kind of units where we can sleep in, work in, have workstations. You know, we hope to do kind of workshops where we can, you know, get people to come from the city, come out and have some sort of natural experience, so they can stay over here and we can do some training. But most of it we're going to open up so that we can see the space from the ground floor up and just have almost like kind of runways built here. So yeah, so this third level, I'm not sure what they used to do, just maybe storage or something they had before. I'm probably just going to make one bedroom at the back here and then just open up the whole side here. I'm a member of the Japan Kominka Restoration Association, and it's really just a bunch of retired people mostly, and they're all usually architects, and they're very interested in saving kominkas. And every weekend where we're going away and doing kominka workshops and learning how to build walls and working, you know, meeting amazing carpenters all around Japan. You know, this is such a dying art, this traditional Japanese carpentry, you know, but I do see a little bit of resurgence, which is really good. But there's not enough carpenters, and the carpenters are getting older. It's the same with most shokunin, which are kind of you know, experts in traditional crafts experts. They don't have anyone to pass on the skills to. So I'm just hoping that, you know, maybe with this project we can inspire people to see, even with such a devastated, falling apart building, you know, that we can really create something super special and keep the heritage alive. So yeah, I'm having a problem finding a carpenter ourselves. You know, a lot of the modern carpenters are just saying, no way, you know, it's too past, that you should just rebuild a new house. But I found one great guy last weekend who builds shrines up in Yamanashi. So I'm hoping he will agree to work with us on this project. And I think it's going to be such a great journey of learning and discovery for me. There's going to be a lot of blood, sweat and pain, but I know at the end of it, it's going to be worth it. Touch wood.